Good morning. It's a chilly Tuesday morning here. We're up in the Thunderbird pasture, the upper piece of it. This area here actually was cleared naturally by a microburst that came through here in 2018, knocked down a bunch of trees. That was part of the cleanup. Behind me, you see the Chippewa campsite. And after a lot of the work was done, we got a whole lot of these weeds that came in. We've always been trained to think that weeds are a bad thing. And in reality, a lot of times weeds are actually there because the soil's unhealthy and it's working hard to heal itself in different things. So you'll see different things come in. And one of the things we'll look at is the root base. For it to really heal itself and to get the nutrients into the soil it needs, you got to have a root. You got to have a living root. So that's the whole thing they talk about with cover crops, not harvesting everything out because there's no living root in there to heal your soil. So while our initial thing is we want to go and rip all of these out of the ground, we're probably going to leave them for now. As the soil heals and we begin to get our crops coming in, should naturally go away. Until then, we will do things like we'll trample them, is what will happen, and then the nutrients can get themselves into the soil. Just another way of healing what goes on. And we'll continue to watch our roots. We're going to look at things like compaction in the soil. When you get compaction, the roots can't go past that. They can't drill their way through it. So if you get a bunch of tubular roots and things like that, they're actually drilling their way through to try and break up the soil. When you get crabgrass, it's trying to hold the soil together. So it's interesting, this kind of learning process we've been on up here and learning more about what goes on and basically helping take care of our planet and our soil and doing our little part here as we do that. And it's interesting. So with our parent organization being in Boston, and Boston's a big thing about decarbonization. That's what they're talking about right now. And they're looking at it from the electrification standpoint. So stopping fossil fuels, which put carbon into our atmosphere and go into electrical. And that's a whole nother topic. The other piece of decarbonization efforts are that carbon capture. To capture the carbon, you've got to have healthy soil to put it into. You got to have plant growth. You got to have healthy trees that are growing. Because basically, as we all remember back from the days of photosynthesis, right? Plants and trees take that carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and they release oxygen. Well, where does the carbon go? Well, carbon comes out into the soil. It's also part of the growth process of those sort of things. So your plants have to be growing. And one of the things that we really had going on here is the fact that our plants and our trees weren't growing. Our trees were stagnant, they were suppressed and that sort of stuff. Some of the other things that you'll see if you come up and visit the camp, we've left a lone pine tree right there. We've opened up the space around it so it's not suppressed, which is what we really had before in our forest. Everything was so tightly packed, nothing could grow. And because they're growing to the sunlight, these things are just going to grow up straight as fast as they can. And you get a tall, thin tree. It's one of the things we want to avoid. So make sure when you're up here, keep an eye on this pine tree and see how it goes. Around the rest, you see some deciduous trees, some oaks, maples that we've opened up area around to let them thrive and survive. So it's a chilly morning. As I said, we had our first frost of the year. It was pretty light. The roofs had some frost on them, and we've seen some of the other stuff. The sun's now peeking up on the other side there, and looks like it's gonna be a great day up here.